ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಕಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹೆಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ದ ಲಾಂಗ್ ಟನಲ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡೆಡ್ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮೈನ್. ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಯು ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಮೈನ್ ನಾವು.
Right, come down a bit closer so I can not have to yell. So welcome to the Long Tunnel Extended Gold Mine Tour. My name's Richard, I'm your tour guide today. Our little trip into the mine will take about 580 metres. It's on a flat level, there's no ups and downs. There's a couple of detours, a little round through little passageways. 2 ventilation shafts, electrical lighting all the way through the mine, and it's best if you walk in single file between these tracks as we go into the mine. Not yet, but when we go in. So gold was discovered in Walhalla in 1862 by Ned Stringer and his companions. They found alluvial gold. Alluvial gold is gold dust, tiny fragments of gold that's found in the creek or around that creek area. But that easy, rich alluvial gold was quickly taken up by the miners within 3 or 4 months. They knew that this gold didn't just magically appear in the creek. It most likely came from a quartz reef somewhere on the hillside. They found that quartz reef all the way along this western ridge, and they knew that the reef was running north-south, which they all do in Victoria. So if you turn east-west, you should strike that reef on the ground. This is basically east-west. So this is what they intend to do. They raised £14,400 of shareholders' money to start this mine in 1865. It was one of the later mines in Walhalla. 14 other registered gold mines had already started in this area. So it wasn't just one mine here, there's quite a few. Now if you're not sure what a quartz reef is, anybody know what a quartz reef is? It's a hard white quartz stone. There's a great big chunk of it in the display over that white stone over there. That will contain gold. That's part of the reef that will contain gold. Now, if you're strong enough to pick that up and put that in a car by yourself, you can have that piece of gold. Weighs a few hundred kilos, I would say. So, right, we have to count everybody as we go in. We do have another tour in the mine, so we're going to have to pass them at some stage.
Yeah.
Can you stop there, please? Don't like anybody go past. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಹೋಗು. 500 meters, sir. Half kilometer. Mind your head. Mind your head. ಇದು ಟ್ರೈನಲ್ಲಿ ಟ್ರ್ಯಾಕಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಗೋಲ್ಡ್ ಅವರನ್ನು ತಕೊಂಡ್ಬಂದು ಹೊರಗೆ ತಕೊಂಡ್ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೋದೇನ? ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ರಾಕ್ ಕಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರೋದು ಇದೆಲ್ಲ.
All right, can you stand this area over here, please? Get the rest of your family standing there close to you to dig the way down to here. This is what they're digging with. This is the hammer and tap method. So this is just a hardened steel bar, and on the end of it there's a little four-sided cross on the end there. It should be a lot sharper than that, but it's well worn out, a bit like me. Right, so these men are working here 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, only resting on the Sunday. 2 men are working on shifts, there's 3 shifts per day. So one man be holding the steel bar like that, and the other man bash that as hard as he can. So when he hits it, the other man just give that a turn, strike, turn, strike, turn. That's all they do all day. Good job? Good job, isn't it? Right. The end of the hole, that little four-sided cross there, is just crushing the rock in a slightly different spot every time it's turned and struck by that hammer. The hole will fill up with dust, so they have to keep blowing that dust out of the hole, and slowly work their way in. So once that first hole is in a bit longer than this bar, that's only one of the 20 holes they have to drill. It takes 6 24-hour days to drill those holes. Once those holes are drilled, they fill them up with black gunpowder. That's the only explosives they had in those days. Goes in with a wadding and a fuse. They'll light those fuses, exit the mine, come back in after the explosion, pick up all that rubble on a wheelbarrow, take that away and start again. They're only digging their way into the mine less than a metre per week. The payment for their work, the harder you work, the more rock you remove, the more money you get. But if their average is about a metre per week. So every metre of rock you remove from the mine, your team is awarded $7 as an equivalent of $7. So that $7 is divided amongst all the 6 workers and the person who made the explosives, who set the explosives. So you get about $1 per person per hard-working 6-day week. That was considered very good money in 1865. Today it wouldn't be enough to give these kids pocket money, would it? No. Right. So when these miners get down to this area here, they realise that they've made an error, or the mine manager's made an error in the direction of the mine. Got a people at the front, same as before. Is this part of your family? Right, just move along, there's 4 people squeezed in at the back. And the probably take that door just over that way. The 4 people at the front.
Charlie, what's that garlic bird view?
We got that sledgehammer and that confined space there. Not an easy job. But when they get to here, not like you like, not very excited at all. Come on, this is where the gold is. Can't you see the gold? What are we looking for? That big white quartz stone. Can you see it now?
That's above.
Can you see the quartz? Can you see any gold in it?
No.
No, why not? Because the gold is gold dust, tiny little fragments, you can't see it, but it's in there.
Well, then why didn't they mine it?
The gold is in this hard white quartz stone here,
Exactly.
or in this soft rock around here. So this reef comes in at a 70-degree angle. It goes all the way up to the surface. At the surface, natural erosion will wash this soft rock away, release those tiny specks of gold. Chunks of this quartz reef will break off. The whole lot will be washed down the hillside and into the creek. That's how the gold got to the creek in the first place. It takes thousands of years of erosion to put that gold in the creek. So these miners take 200 tonnes of this quartz stone out, goes to a crushing plant, crushes to a fine powder, then goes through a gold separation process. Move down near your family there, please. That's right in front of the display area. That's the stand on the back there behind those trees. So yeah.
Sorry.
These boys can come in this area here, please. You can probably send that right off in the frame, mate. All you're going to do is button the battery. Right. overall here. Okay, so we're now 230 metres in from the entrance. We double our first stop, but they took the Long Tunnel Extended Gold Mine Company. The company took over here in 1871. It took them 4 years to dig all the way down to here, using the hammer and tap method. 4 years digging. Around about 1875, they started using pneumatic tools, air-driven tools like this jackhammer here. So these things worked really, really well. They worked so well, the biggest problem, of course, was dust. Dust was a serious problem in these mines in those days. They worked near that small tunnel. There's no free-flowing ventilation. These are drills here create a lot of dust, and the air from this air-driven jackhammers is just blowing that dust around in your face. You're inhaling that dust into their lungs is causing serious health problems. It's called miners' lung or miners' complaint. But today we actually, does it look like a spider? No. Look like something hanging a coat on? Maybe. Very important you took this thing with you to work. You drive it into the crevice in the rock, like that. And then you take out your wax candle. You put your wax candle in this little hole here. They're actually candle holders. You've got to have some sort of lighting in your working area so you can see what you're doing. You can't just go digging around in the dark and get much done there. But it's very important you took your candle holder with your work and your candle. You paid for these little devices. Those little candles were actually wax candles, which actually a byproduct for making kerosene. So previous to that, the only other candles they had was animal fat candles. They were horrible, stinky things and gave a very, very poor light. So wax candles is a big improvement in the lighting. Nowadays, we have LED lights. Wow, look at these. All right. Had these things in mind in the 1890s, they'd all be blinded by the light. Right, any questions? Yes, that's caused by the air coming through the ventilation shaft, which is, there's one up there, there's the other one right here. Come right in, just lock on the doorway. See. So this here is a small machinery chamber. So this chamber here was dug out here to put boilers on the inside of the mine. The very first boiler was right here where I'm standing, and this brickwork behind me is part of the foundations of that boiler. These boilers look like this photograph here. These are the ones that are straight out of the factory, but these ones are made in Sydney. These are actually 6 metres long and nearly almost 2 metres diameter. That boiler here is their energy source. So that boiler is filled up with water. Then the light a large wood fire up this end here. That heats that water till that water turns to steam. That steam under pressure will run an air compressor. With that compressed air, they run the jackhammers, pumps, winches. All the machinery in the mine runs on compressed air. Electricity was generally only for low voltage lighting. These boilers are burning wood. The wood's coming from the trees around Walhalla. So a boiler sitting here for a 24-hour period would burn somewhere between 5 and 6 tons of wood. When this mine was in full operation, this mine had 5 boilers, 1 here and 4 in the chamber next door. It's now burning 30 to 35 tons of wood per day, 6 days a week for as many days of the year as can keep this mine operating. All the other gold mines are doing exactly the same. So all the wood around, all the trees around Walhalla is quickly disappearing off the hills. At the end of the gold mining period, there was not a usable tree standing around Walhalla for 8 kilometres in each direction. It's hard to believe that now, that those hills were completely bare of any usable timber. But this is a cool temperate climate and the gum tree flows quite quickly in this area here. We've been very hot here, probably excess of maybe 45 degrees. So they put another ventilation shaft in there, that goes around the corner, up on an angle up to the surface, allows that cool breeze into the mine. Right, and greatly adds to the oxygen levels, which has been very, very important. Right, so I'm just going to go over here, so the rest of you just sort of come in behind me. We're there, you'll be able to see what's happening over here. Can you just take a step back, please? Thank you, that'd be good. Now, if I just use my finger as a pointer, you can see there's all these holes drilled in the wall here. There's ones down here, along here, there's some on this corner over here. So this is known as core sampling. So this was done in the 1980s. 1982 to 86, a company came in here to try to get some gold from this mine with more modern technology. So they drill these holes in. They drill them in all different directions and they take out this long, thin sample of rock. This one here, as you can see, this brown stuff running out here. There must have been a bit of ironstone in there because that's just rusty water that's actually run out there, dissolved from that ironstone. The reason they're digging here is you can see there is some quartz in this area here. So this is what they're trying to find. They're trying to find some quartz samples. There's hopefully a big chunk of quartz in there somewhere with this core sampling. Now, so if I just sneak in, right. So this is the drilling bit. We'll drill those holes. This is a modern day drilling bit. Well, it was in the 1980s. Industrial diamond teeth on the end here. Should be nice and pointy, be well worn down. But this just set up in the machine, length of pipe screws in the back here. This just spins and just grinds its way into the rock. Once it's in one length of pipe, they just add another and another and another, keep going in. These things will easily go 500 metres into the rock. They take out that long thin sample of rock. So that's just what we're looking for. That's just a tiny sample of this rock. Right, remember what we're looking for in this rock? We're looking for, right. Can you see that? Can you see that? All right, can you see that? All right. Let me go here. You want to see it too? See that gold there? Tiny little specks? Yeah. All right. See that, kids? Tiny, tiny little gold specks there.
That's cool.
Right. But we know that not all that glitters is gold. What we're actually looking at here is pyrites. Sorry folks, it is not real gold. It's known as fool's gold. Had this been real gold, I would not be holding this in my hand. Some people have taken this years ago, crushed it and got.
Do you think it was a real TV?
So this is our main machinery chamber. Originally this chamber was 43 metres long in this direction behind me. It, as you can see, this all collapsed in the 1920s. It's all been timbered up and made all safe here for us. So this is the rest of the boiler section. So number 2, 3, 4 and 5 boilers are all in this area here. The smoke from these boilers must go somewhere. So that's the main chimney just over there. That chimney there goes 150 metres all the way up to the surface. It took 3 years to dig that chimney, starting at the bottom and going up. Very difficult job. So they start working on the main shaft. The main shaft is the far end of this collapsed chamber here. I can't show you that in reality, but I can show you that on the map. I don't know if you can see through the back of my head, but you just move that to the side, make it better for you. Okay, get that tall bloke at the back. Alright, so this is where we've entered the mine. We've travelled 250 metres, we're standing right here. Remember when I set it up at the reef there, we're at the reef's about here. 100 metres in, 200 metres down, we're going to find that reef. And that's exactly what happened. 100 metres in, 200 metres down, this is where they found the reef. The reef is indicated by the shaded area all through the map. So when they find that reef, they tunnel north and south and take that quartz stone out. Once they've got that quartz stone out of there, they go down 30 metres and do the same again. Every 30 metres down, they just keep going down, starting new levels. The very first stone they took out was extremely poor quality. But every time they went down another level, they kept improving their quality, or almost doubling their quality. So by the end of 1884, this mine had produced 40,000 ounces of gold. They're starting to make a profit, this mine now, so as shareholders are looking pretty happy. Well, fairly happy anyway. So, as the years progress, this shaft just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. By 1890, this mine is now setting records. It's now the richest gold mine in Victoria for 6 years in a row. Continued setting records right up to 1908. And in 1896, it's the top as the richest gold mine in Australia. Now, aren't you glad you hung on to your share? Right, you could have sold them in 1880 when things were looking really bad for this mine and lost out on that. But as you can see, this main shaft just keeps getting deeper and deeper as the years keep going by. Right down to here, to 937 metres down. 8.5 kilometres of tunnelling there. So we're standing about right there. There's some idea how much tunnelling is under this whole side of Walhalla. It took far too long for this little bucket elevator to go up and down here with only 2 men at a time. So this incline shaft here, which was sponsored by the company next door, on this incline shaft here, they had all carriage on rails where 10 men could sit in that carriage. It was much quicker than the 2 in this one. They can quickly sped that into the mine, and right at the end of that tunnel there is this lovely patch of quartz stone there. But you can see from here down, the reef is getting thinner and thinner and thinner. So they sunk another shaft down here to see how much of that reef was left. They stopped at 1,100. I've seen people look at that man and scream and run away. He hasn't been to the dentist for a while. Alright, so this is your 1-ton cart. This is a cart that we winched up from 900 metres all the way up here, dragged onto the tracks, and when our empty cart was going down, 2 men would stand in this little cage here, and they'd be lowered there 900 metres down to their working area. When you go down to your working area, it was not unusual for you to be standing knee-deep in cold water for the 8-hour duration of your shift. The boots in those days wouldn't handle those horrible wet conditions down there, so they leave the boots in the brew room and tie fatty rags around their feet to protect their feet from the cold water and the sharp rocks. Imagine what their feet would look like at the end of the week's work. Pretty ordinary, eh? If you happen to stub your toe or get a cut on your leg or something down there, you want to get it seen to straight away, because you'll end up with most likely an infection, which will turn to blood poisoning, go to gangrene, most likely lose your leg and lose your life. The average lifespan of a working man in those days was 46 years. A bit different to what it is today, it's about 82. Anybody like to be a gold miner in the old days? No? You can make twice as much pocket money as you do today. Oh, you have to work for it then. Okay. All right, any questions there? All right, now let's just keep going this way. Camera will come in, just wheel in and around the back with all the people at the back so they can all see. Just hold on for a minute. Known as crib rooms in those days. So these little rooms here, well, you can call them a lunchroom or a brew room now. But when these miners went to work in the 1870s, in those very early days, these miners had to work an 8-hour shift. An 8-hour shift meant you worked 8 hours continuously. There was no rest stops, there was no meal breaks, no toilet stops. You were paid to do 8 hours work, and by golly, that's what you did. You organise your bodily functions outside your working hours. If you didn't like those conditions, just step outside the mine and there'd be 15 men out there willing to take your job straight away. Not only that, there was no workers' compensation, no sick leave, no long service leave, no dole, no family, no old age pension, no family allowance, no Medicare, no electricity, and damn sure there was no maternity leave. Sorry for that pregnant lady around here.
Yeah, she is.
I'm sorry.
No mat leave for you, mate.
No, or you, or the husband's leave either. So all those things did not exist in those days. Now, it wasn't until 1895 that these people actually ordered a 10-minute meal break. They have a quick bite to eat, a gulp of tea, and a toilet would be a bucket in the corner, which is a great improvement on what they had before, which was nothing. If you took all those conditions out of your lifestyle, and you bet you'd be saying like the old miners were doing, you'd be back in the good old days. And were they that good? Maybe not. But that was what life was like in those days. This town was a very hard-working
Going inside the tunnel now. Finish the tour. Going back. Nice one. Most profitable gold mine in 1890s. After 15 years of struggle and not making any money, after 15 years, this gold mine started making money and it becomes the richest gold mine of Victoria in 1895 something. Nice one. So these are all, they just made it with the support and all those things so that it should not fall. This is the end of the tunnel, like this we are going. Almost 300 meters inside. And it went down to 1,000 meters, almost 1 kilometer down before it stops. So one more tunnel here. This is how we are going out now. Almost reaching. This is someone is coming along, doing the light, the reflection. Look at it. It sometimes disappears like a ghost. Look at here. Now starts, present, now disappear. Now you can see after sometimes disappear. We have reached almost the end of this tunnel and end of the tour. It was nice to see how exactly the gold mine was. This level.
These guys.